So thanks for checking this out. I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin as usual. It's been the main thing that I've been focused on lately. And of course, after we hit the all-time high and came back down, we haven't put in a lower low. And because there hasn't been a lower low, I've noticed that there's a hidden bull div on the 3-day and then on the daily. So yeah, this is really interesting. And I'll go ahead and just point it out again because it's still there and it hasn't invalidated. And right here it is. So for as long as this holds and that fast MA gets closer up here, closer to, let's hide this one. See, I'll just redraw that later. Okay. As we get closer to this crossover, it's going to probably play out unless it rejects here and comes back down. But I feel pretty good about this playing out because it's held this area for quite a while, as if it doesn't want to go any lower. And it is pretty far from this invalidation point here. So for it to come all the way down here to invalidate this, it doesn't seem very likely. So I'm leaning that this is going to play out. And the RSI is climbing. It's coming up after that big dump. And although the price is just going sideways, when the RSI climbs like this, even on this high time frame, eventually it's going to get into bullish sentiment on a higher time frame like this. And if it doesn't, then watch to see if this low here is taken out. Because if that's taken out, then that will be a change in market structure on high time frame. And I would say that would be the start of some sort of, I don't want to say bear market, but bigger dump. And this bull div is on the daily as well. So now this is a really interesting thing here. So I'll just get rid of these lines. But the price has went the same as the RSI keeps climbing. And right here, you see the RSI or the fast MA bouncing and staying into bullish sentiment while the price is going sideways. And what you would probably have here if you looked at something like Bollinger Bands is the contraction of them. That means some volatility is coming soon. And it's close to popping above here, and there's a key level here that's very important, and it hasn't went below. Now it could still go below on the daily and then kind of create another bullish shark fin, but because this RSI keeps climbing while price goes sideways, I've seen this so many times, and the Bollinger Bands are contracting and it's getting ready for volatility, usually you have a big move. So actually, let me look at that on this previous thing that happened over here. Yeah, it didn't get this contracted. It's very contracted here. So, but what you did have here is a very similar thing. And the price kept going sideways and down just a little bit while the RSI was climbing. And that's what you're having here. So it's very similar for the amount of time that it's went sideways while the RSI and money flows went up. And then you had a move where the fast MA got above the 50 and held. And then during this time, even up through here, it was still going up. And if it doesn't go below this low or this dotted divergence and validation line, then it's a really good chance that this will have another move up. I kind of talked about this in my last stream last week. I was expecting something to happen by now, but Bitcoin's just went sideways. The one thing that I would keep in mind though is they're starting to get wicks here, and this is showing a possibility that it could reject. There's a value area low for a greater volume range, and it's really pushing into it and having trouble getting above that. Even if you kind of looked at it from here. Yeah, I'm going to leave this here as a matter of fact. And because I haven't even drawn this on here. Let's see what it looks like on like the 4 hour like that. I want to get my lines just right because I'm doing this as we talk here. And I want to see how this goes. I mean, it could still keep going sideways and not do anything on this line, but yeah, I have a feeling that the daily is going to come down just a little bit more, one more time, and put in a bullish shark fin. But we don't know. If it gets above this purple line and holds, it could be very bullish all of a sudden. But, you know, look at where the RSI is right now and how the prices just went sideways. And the time, it's been longer than, I'd say, around this time before this move. And it was the same thing here as last time with the hidden bull. So that's why I lean slightly bullish this time. I have a feeling that there's actually a possibility that because this is building so much pressure that it could maybe put in another all-time high. And I thought that this was the top, and I was calling for a bear market like right around here. But we'll see. You know, there is that possible head and shoulders. I think I showed this before, like last week. Yeah, here we go. We would need to hit here at least, but if it gets up here further, which is it's possible, with this contraction of the Bollinger Bands right here, this pressure, some volatility's coming, and it's probably going to move fast once it moves. I mean, it's not a head and shoulders yet, but I would say it's probably going to make it up here. And hopefully, in my opinion, I hope it goes up to a new all-time high again, even if I'm wrong about the bull run being over. I'd like to see some more liquidity in the markets because it's kind of, you know, things are moving slow. There's always something to trade if you're looking at EAX. And speaking of, so that's pretty much it that I wanted to say for Bitcoin. It's the same as last week. It's just been kind of boring for Bitcoin, but that's usually when altcoins move as well, because when Bitcoin goes sideways, then that's when you often get a lot of altcoin movement. And I'm trying to switch here to my EAX. I wanted to look at some stuff because there's not really anything going on with Bitcoin, and I like the pumpers and dumpers here on EAX the most. Just the way I trade. And, you know, to see what's in proximity to a key level. But if I don't see a massive percentage of gain or loss when something's close, I'm not really as concerned with it. So it's just me, but I'm more concerned with a big pump or dump. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some of these and go ahead and put them into my charts. So I can't share both windows at the same time through this EA stage for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this off screen, and I'm going to pull up ZBT. I have Piverse. I'll just grab those two, and then I'll pull up a couple of these. And we'll just kind of look around. So I'm going to pull this away, and go ahead and put my charts back on. And now I have that on the other screen, so you can't see it, but that's where I'm getting these tokens from. Thanks for joining, guys. It's good to see people joined. I'm guessing everyone can hear me all right. So I'm going to go ahead and create a list here. Thanks, guys. And there's my window, my EAX. I've never heard of this CBT. I don't know what it is or if it's new, but it's definitely pumped. I've already got Piverse, but I'll put it on this one anyway. So this isn't a lot. This stream might not be that long today, because I'm personally just waiting to see what Bitcoin does. But I believe it's going to go up, so I might enter some longs soon. But I'm just kind of looking at things right now, because that the Bollinger Bands are so contracted that I think there's going to be, you know, pretty volatile move. And what I find, I'll show you in a minute, but when you have Bollinger Bands contracting, you don't always see like the first move as the move. Like, I'll explain it. I'll pull up some Bollinger Bands and just show as an example. Now, this isn't really one of the EA tools, but it's a basic tool. This is a good example here. So you know that when the Bollinger Bands are wide, it's volatile, and when it's contracting, it's in a contraction phase of some sort. We can look at indicator X to confirm, but I just wanted to show this because it's so easy to see how contracted it is with the Bollinger Bands. You can tell by looking at it. But you would think, oh, as soon as it makes a move, it's going to be a big move. I've found that that's not always the case. Like, sometimes you'll have, you know, a hit on one of the Bollinger Bands right after the contraction, and it's starting to get volatile, but it's often like a rubber band or slingshot effect. Like, after the contraction, it's usually a hit, something like this, and then instead of going down, it bounces, and then that is the move, and it went up. But what if you look at other time frames, you often see what's going on, especially if you look at the money flow. So I just wanted to mention that. Keep an eye on the Bollinger Bands on TDIX and regular ones if you want. I like to. Sometimes I don't use them as much as, like, you know, moving averages and other things. So this one here, I'm going to look at this one right off the bat. Very interesting. So I haven't looked at this ever at all until now. And it is above the weekly. Wow, that is, how narrow is that guy? Well, it's not that narrow. Interesting. It's not super narrow, really. Oh, is it choppy? Oh, guys, sorry about that. Yeah, guys in the chat, Ogre said the stream is a little choppy. I hope it's all right, and you guys are able to see it. The recording will be good. So if I'm going to type to you real quick if you can't see. Oh, okay, maybe it's your side. All right, no worries. Yeah, thanks for letting me know, though. So normally I'd look at TrendX for something like this. It's definitely in a bullish state on TrendX, but oftentimes stuff will be moving because it's new. I don't know how new this thing is. I've never heard of it. Yeah, it's kind of new. So I'll be watching this. even though, the Trendex pivots, I mean, the monthly's kind of narrow when you look at it like that. Well, it's not that narrow, but oh, it is choppy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go ahead and continue. And if it gets really bad, don't feel bad about leaving. And then if you want to, you can check the recording. Yeah, the internet's been weird lately. So even if there's not a narrow monthly, weekly, or daily, and it's kind of a narrow daily on this one. Yeah. You'll still see reactions to Trendex lines. And this is just one of the coolest things. And I keep wanting to talk about this and getting distracted during, my sessions. But Trendex is so powerful. Whether you're using Indicator X, SMCX, or, TDIX for your trading, Trendex is so useful because of how it just generates these key levels. And I'll just look at a few things, but I wanted to kind of see what was going on with that. This movement here doesn't really feel like it's based that much on TA. It might be there. I mean, it did get really low and had some divergences, but I would say this is probably because it's new. And I don't know if I would trade this without using a trend line breakout or something, because it's at least right now, I wouldn't personally right now, because it's kind of reversed. Well, there is a trend X line here where it reversed, but I'm not going to touch this one right now, but I'm going to watch it and see if I can find a trade that I like. And oh, this is a really good one here. And Piverse is more established, so, well, it's been around a little longer, I think. It's still new. But oftentimes you'll see this, and I was talking to Mowgli about this, because there's so many times when there's probably another level here somewhere where the price will try to get up to the R3, and I made my R3s red, and it won't always make it. It'll get close to it and then reverse before tapping it. So as it gets closer, when it's like between the R2 and R3, you want to start looking for signs of a reversal. And because, wow, this is great. I mean, it's up to 80 on the 4-hour, and it hasn't had a cross or anything. So this could be in a good zone to start looking at this one. I'm gonna take a look at this one. So I'm just looking at areas nearby. That would be a good order block for a reversal. Let's make it a little longer. See, the way I see it is when you have a really big candle, a really big one, that means the order block is very strong. So that, I think I can pull up another example, but I'll show you. So when you have a big move, like a big candle, you want to look for the recent swing high or swing low. And why is it not in order? There we go. Pick the last opposite color candle. So I would look at this. I mean, this thing's been kind of boring and it doesn't have massive moves, but because it had this massive candle here, this huge candle, and it looks even bigger on the 4-hour. When you have a big candle like that, this last opposite color candle right here is the one you want. So I seen it hit these, because these were order blocks too. If it would have bounced here, that would have been really bullish. but it fell. It stopped at it and then it went down. And it wicked on this but didn't hold it. So I'm not counting that. I mean, it had some candles over here, like a big one. But this huge one, this is the true order block right here. This is your zone on Cato and what I'm looking for. If it comes down to this zone, I will be entering along at this area. That's just me. Because this thing has went down and down and down for a long time. And I've traded it before, and it usually eventually goes really low and then has a big breakout. So right now, I'm looking for the order block where I expect the next bounce. Because this is a very slight change of structure here. A very slight one. And this could be the first retracement after the change of structure. So this order block, yeah, right here. So that's what I'm looking at on Piverse now, because it went down really fast. And so I take the last opposite color candle and I draw an order block area with the 50 point. And I'll watch and see. And, you know, it could reverse before that. But if it gets up here, I would be looking to short this. It's went up a lot. And the second time doesn't seem as strong. So that dip there is a strong order block. Because right after that, that's when it really went. And even here, like as an example, you see what happens at these order blocks right around these big candles is the opposite color candle is like a zone where it tapped it here, and you could even had a short right on that middle line. It's always the middle line that you get the most action off of. So it had trouble getting above this order block. It did eventually, but it kept resisting it. So I'm expecting a reaction on Piverse up here. It may go and just reverse here. We don't know, but the money flow is kind of high, and I would want to see something like this where the fast MA goes below, but then dips below it again, because it's moving up. I think it's going to make it here. So I'm going to look for a short on that, depending on Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin may dip again, like I was saying. This one's just dumped a lot. I wouldn't do anything with this. It's no good to short, and you know, it's obviously there's no zone here. It's too new. There's no order block. There's no zone. There's a trend X level here. I mean, you could risk it. It might bounce here, and it might even hit the 50 line here, or like, because there's also between trend X levels, there's a 50% line that's price will often interact with. It doesn't mean it will, but a lot of the time it does. So this would be a zone, and then this. But I wouldn't touch this one, so I'm getting this one out of here. I would wait to see more data on that. Would any of you guys like me to look at anything? Just let me know in the chat if there's a coin you're looking at or you want to discuss, because there's not a lot going on, and I might have this a short stream. SQD, okay, I'll put it on the list here. Yeah, anything you want. So this one here, let's see. Oh, it's another new one. Wow, and it's low. Definitely too late to short it now. I mean, yeah, it's a little late to short it. It's looking kind of bearish still if it crosses here, but I mean, it could be reversing, but it's, you know, below the trend X levels, so that's kind of risky to short right now. Maybe on a low time frame. Let's go a little. You know what? Yeah, that was a short that could have been taken up here at this high. But I wouldn't short here. I wouldn't long here. It's even looking like it's going to go lower than this. And it might go up. Actually, it might go up a little bit too. But I think it's going to come down a little bit, and then if it goes up, and then maybe have another short, it maybe an order block or something like this, like up here. But I'm not going to touch this one either right now. Let me see. Let's just look at the market structure. That's so close. You know, it kind of looks like it had a low time frame breakout here. It's got hidden bull divs on this, on the 15 and on the 30-minute. And it's looking like it's going to go up a little bit, but I wouldn't long it because it's below these trend X levels. It could go up to these and then reject. I think it will. That's just me, though. So I'm not really interested in trading this one right now, personally. So let's look at SQD. This could be interesting. It reminds me kind of Cato. It keeps going down, but then eventually hits a spot and then has a big move up. And now it's been climbing. It's looking bullish. But for how long? Yeah, this looks bullish. This looks pretty interesting. I mean, these aren't really huge order blocks standing in the way either. I would be looking for resistance, you know, at any one of these green candles would be an opposing level as well as, you know, an order block. So I would say that as it reaches here, it's going to have a little pullback probably. It's also the trend X level. So watch out for that. Or, you know, actually it's really good to do it on the daily in my opinion, but there's probably something there. Or the 4 hour, I mean. No, this has had efficient price movement. When you see less fair value gaps, that tends to mean it's making real movements. Like it's not fake, because like a lot of times the big moves are fake moves. This looks like this looks bullish. That's my opinion. I think because Bitcoin is potentially bullish, this, you know, you would want to wait for it to get above this for sure. That's going to be a key level here. I mean, look at the wick on that previous one when it tapped it there. But when if it gets above this R2 on the actually that's the R1 on the monthly. If it gets above that, I think it would likely continue to go up from what I see on here. I mean, and there's another thing I would check. I would just check from here because it went, yeah, I would check from here. I would expect it to at least get up here somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a level here. That's my opinion. but I think it could go higher potentially. But I wouldn't think it would be a fast move. It might, but the way this thing moves, with the small candles, it's not huge moves. Or the moves up have been. It might. I would feel bullish on this, but if the move is real, you're going to have smaller candles, and it's just going to continue to grind. But I mean, these are still real moves. They're just, expect a reversal when you see huge candles, because that volatility usually snaps back, and that's why a lot of people like to short stuff that pumps. Yeah, there's some levels on here I'd like to look at. This one was a pretty interesting one to see. See if I can reveal it on the weekly. Sometimes it makes it easier. All right, so I'm gonna mark a few things. Yeah, this looks really bullish. I mean, there isn't even a weekly resistance until 19.4, or an opposing. I mean, there's resistance, but it's on the weekly. This is like the main resistance. There's a big fair value gap that it's in, and it's right at that order block, right at that trend X line. So this would be a place for it to reverse if it's going to, but I feel kind of bullish about this one because of the way it's went back up through this here. Let's see another stuff. Let's look at it. This one was a good one to pull up. Yeah, I would say that it might not go up as fast as before, even though it usually has fast moves up. It might get above here when it does, maybe grind up and have a real sustained move. But we're potentially in a bear market, so to say that it's gonna do some all-time high or something, there's no way to say that, to tell. It could, but there's no way to tell. There is a key level here. I'm just trying to find a really good way to point it out. I'm just kind of checking for flip zones, and there was a different time frame I seen it on. Let me mark another level here too. I'm gonna get this kind of set up because I might look into this one. It's just this big wick. Something's going on here. This whole zone. There's something here. I just haven't noticed it yet. Ah, okay. It's that weekly. That's what it is. See, whenever you see a big wick, it reveals some key level is there, some important key level, and right here is where it is. It's this weekly key level, this weekly opposing level. And you see the wick, and that's another way to reveal, when you find a key level, you're like, okay, there's a big wick, but where's the key level? Well, it's oftentimes the top. It's usually a key zone, and it's oftentimes that the key zone, the top of it, or would be by the bottom of the last candle body that with the big wick, or the other part of the zone would be down by the end of the wick. That's a big zone. So I'm going to just say it's this opposing level because it looks like a flip level as well, where, well, there's not a lot going on back. Well, there is kind of here and here even. Yeah, there it is. See, this is the flip. So this line here, 19 cents, 19.387 cents. It taps it here. Look at the wick on that. It couldn't even make it up here. It pierced it, but could not close a candle above it, wicked on it. Try to get above wicked on it, pushed below, rejected, and yeah, so that's it. Oh wait, here, that's right, there's more. So it keeps hitting this level. This is the line in the sand for SQD. It may go, I think it's going to go up to it. I think it'll make it up to it. When, I don't know, because this structure looks really good. I expect a retracement here, but if it gets above and does some sort of retest, yeah, that's the level you want to watch on this one. 19387, because it keeps hitting it and having trouble. So it had all these flip zones way over here, and then here the big wick, dead giveaway, key level is there, so you know how to find your key levels with those big wicks. And then it started doing the flip here. It tried to hold, couldn't, got below, wicked, rejected, came up, tapped it, rejected. And then it said, no, I'm going way away from that place. And now it's making another run. This weekly is, that would be a good place to enter a short. That would be a really good place to enter a short. Because what you see here too is how the highs are getting lower. Here's a high, lower high. Change of character, but a lower high than here. But you had a lower low, and then another lower low, and the highs are getting lower. So this would be consistent to say that this is your zone to enter a short, and that would be another lower high. That is a really good zone for a short. Of course, you want to use other confluence, but I am marking this one on here, and I'm going to make it over here because it takes time to get there. So I would look for a short up here. I think it's going to make it through this, but we'll see. There's definitely probably going to be a reaction here. There's a lot of confluence. And let's see, looking at the Fibonacci again, it's probably a fib zone there too. I wouldn't doubt it. Close to it. Well, it's in the golden zone. So that's a golden zone from the 6.5 to the 7.86 is a good area for a short. So that's right there. Whoops. So that is right there at that. I'll turn off Trendex so it's not confusing. These lines are not perfect, but yeah, that looks pretty good. So it's right in this golden zone, because that's, I don't know if you guys know that, but between this, really the 618 and the 786 is kind of they call it the golden zone. And you often get reversals here, or a reaction. So because that key flip level, that weekly opposing level, is right there, I would expect something to happen there, right on it. And I don't think price will be getting above it. Maybe it will, but by the way it went down so much farther after it rejected it again, it's like, nope, it went to lower lows. But if it got above that level and held and started closing candles above it, that would be extremely bullish. We're not in a bull run really anymore, at least not a strong bull run. So yeah, that's a good area to watch. And with trading, you don't want to just enter a trade and then get trapped because you didn't do the TA. You want to do the TA, set your trap. If price goes into your trap, you can take the trade, and you're expecting that reaction there. Even if you just scalp it, you could get a scalp or two off of it, but yeah, maybe you'll get a really nice move. Would I take a long until no, well, let's see here. I would say I believe it's going to make it up here. I believe this is a level that's important to it, and I think this could be the last rejection of it. Maybe it won't even make it there, but I wouldn't take a long on top of that, no, or unless it went way up, and then it would have to, honestly, to take a long on this, I would want to see it clear one of these highs. This one, really. I would want to see price get up here and then come back down and then go long. I would not go long at this level like you mentioned. Oh, yeah. Now, okay, I see what you're saying. At the current location. Well, not at this moment, but watch to see if it gets above this order block. But you want it to clear this high. If it came up and cleared this high and then came back down, you know, but it needs to clear this high with strength in order to have a change in market structure. So if it gets here and rejects, you know, if it reverses on here and goes down, well, there's no telling, it might go down for quite a while. But yeah, this is a strong order block here on the daily, like where I was showing you. This little candle, this little green candle is your level. See that one? And, you know, if it gets above this, it may get above it and try to make a nice, strong, higher high than this one. But this one here is going to reject it too. But it could, you know, it could potentially, because it did look bullish on the TDIX. It does. But I would expect one of these levels, you know, maybe this one here, to like kind of be like an area, you know. And that would be the bullish scenario where I would say, you know, let's just mark that guy. I mean, there's a trend X level right there, but when you mark it like this, you get to see this 50% line. See, that's a good spot for it too. Like, I wouldn't long it around here, but if it came back or went up to here, came back down and started to show signs on other time frames, yeah, you could take a low time frame long scalp and maybe it'll make it. But if you took a risk and did a scalp long on this right here and then it made it through here, there's a strong chance it's going up to this 19387, this red line. There's a very strong chance of that, because that is such a key level for this thing. So, oh, you're welcome. No worries. But yeah, did you see what I did, Cat Monkey? And guys, okay, Ogre, have a good one. We'll see you around. Did you see what I did though? Like how I found it, so you know how to do it. Like, let's move this thing kind of out of here somewhere. You know, I'm just taking a quick look at the charts, and I'm looking for a place where the price is interacting. When you see like somewhere like, oh, it hit here, it tried to get above but failed. But when you look, eventually you will start to see the big candles. And there was even a big candle right here rejecting that key level. Let's make this one shine. Let's make this like a little tree lives here or something. Like, let's make this one white. And I'm going to make it bold because this is a very important line. Make it big. This is a very important line for it. And you see when price is hitting it, it's always reacting at it with some sort of wick, especially even on low time frames, not being able to close a full candle body above it. And then, like in this case, it did, but then it couldn't hold it. It just couldn't hold. But like, it's a flip zone. But you can find the flip zone by noticing the big candle wicks. They reveal key levels. So that has, you know, proven that is something important for some reason for this thing. It wants to trade around that, or it doesn't want to trade around that price, let's say, because whenever it does trade around that price, then it rejects or pumps, but it hasn't had that pump yet. But if it got above there, if it got above here and held somehow and started closing a few candles, it could go. It could go for all-time highs because it is still relatively new. But considering the season we're in, you know, it depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin can make an all-time high again, oh yeah, I think a lot of these things are going to blast off because they've been oversold for a long time. But we're in that time period where the traditional bull run is over. So yes, this is a really good one. I feel really good about this level here. And that's your trap. So you set your trap. You find it with these wicks. You mark it. Save it. You know, if you have to, use your object tree to make sure, you know, you can turn it on and off if you need to. So I would get down on lower time frames as soon as it gets close to that white line. And it will react to it. Even here, you know, even when it gets around here, you want to start looking at lower time frames, like the 15-minute. And I could show you an example that I know of because I study Cato. I don't know why. It doesn't even have massive moves. Once in a while it does. But I just like this one for some reason because I've had some successful trades on it before, and I mean, it looks like it's dying. There's not much going on with it anymore. But I like to watch it as a habit. I'll look at new coins, because I look at it often, I see certain things. And what I'll show you is what you would want to look for on SQD once it reaches these levels, or this one. So you got a level here and a level here, really these midlines, and then your level here. And let's just get rid of this fib because we already know. I can kind of see where the Fibonacci level is without pulling my fib almost, because I'm so used to it. But once it gets to these spots, you know, boom, boom, especially this one, look for stuff like this. And I'm going to show you what to look for. I think I talked about this last week, but I like to talk about it a lot because I don't know who is going to be watching my videos one week and not another week. So, yeah. So whenever you start to get, you know, I'll start over here. And it didn't even have big moves up until here. So this, I guess we'll look here. What I find with this is this, here it is. This is exactly what I wanted to show. Well, okay. Now you had a big candle. Right there's your spot, your point of interest where you're starting to look. What's going on here? Okay, there's a massive order block right here. I marked it on the high time frame. But you won't see that until after it happens. However, once it happens, you think, oh, I missed it. I missed the move. In many cases, you haven't. In this case, it just hasn't done what normally something would print a hidden bull div like this one. And I'll show you. I show these all the time. It is now like one of my favorite things to trade. They are so solid. They take time often to play out, but if they don't play out, they usually create a regular bull div right after, and they start stacking divergences, and then they explode typically. And things are a little different, you know. Right now, it seems like the shorts are the way to go. So this would have had a hidden bull right around here on the 5-minute even, because even if you just did it from here, you know, the low here isn't as low as this one, but it's got a higher low on price and a lower low on the oscillator. That's a hidden bull div, but they don't always play out. Now, as long as price doesn't go below this low, and let's mark it. And I'm going to try to make it go all the way here. There are hidden bull divs printing here. It's, well, this one. And you know what? You don't always see, you see the first one here on the 5-minute. And look, it didn't play out, but then the price right after the hidden bull created a regular bull. And so when the hidden bull doesn't play out, but yet it hasn't invalidated, look for a regular bull div right after it. Now, you don't want to take every trade because well, you could have been looking for a trade around here. If you drew a trend line, you could have taken a very small trade. But the thing was, the higher time frame had something else going on. And that's what I was going to say. This is the whole point of me showing you Cato right now, because of what's going on with SQD. And what I'm trying to say is right now we're in a time with low liquidity, and divergences don't always hit right off. If something's got a lot of liquidity, a lot of people trading, sure, they can pop as soon as the hidden bull is there. But if it doesn't, at least, you know, you can let your stop get hit and wait a while. And then when the second bull div hits right around here, but it's getting stronger and the money flow is getting closer and the RSI is climbing, and then this is like a perfect entry area here. Now this isn't a big move, but I'm showing you what to look for on other things. When it gets above into bullish sentiment, see when it crossed right here and it got up above this money flow, it comes back down but couldn't get below it again. Right here, usually when it starts going up again as an entry. So like you could have easily caught here, even if you entered like here or, you know, right on this next candle, it wouldn't have been a big move because this is, you know, this candle or this it's in 35 minutes. It's not bad for 35 minutes, 3.42%, but it's nothing compared to other coins. I'm just showing you how this works. So you will get stacked divergences like that. And as long as price does not go below this invalidation line, this, you know, this hidden bull is now creating a regular bull, even in the long term. And when you see, like, see now every time after the hidden bull that it creates a regular bull, ooh, this one is it's kind of like an exaggerate. Oh, it's there, close. Well, ooh, let's get it right there. Yeah, it's there. But every time it comes down and makes a low and then starts going up again and does something like this, which I showed you here, where this little thing here, this is a better example, even though it wasn't a big move. Where was it? Here. So after you have these, one divergence stacked to another, look for this. And then usually you get a move. Because it's like saying that it's in bullish sentiment and then it tries to go into bearish sentiment under here, under this midline, this wave. But it says no and it goes back up, and right around here is your entry for a long right here. So right, that would be my trigger for a long. I've had successful trades with that. I often trade, see here's another one. The RSI was climbing, bounced on the middle band. The RSI is climbing, bounced on the middle band like here. These candles are entry. It tapped it again. It looked bearish for a minute, but then as soon as it got above, that was bullish. It plays a little bit. It plays around the middle band, but you want to watch that fast MA crossing that middle band. So that would have been another zone right there, really here even, would have been the long entry. And this would, so that you could have entered a long up to here, and then it dumped. But what I want to show you, especially for people that are watching the, you know, the replay, is I'm trying to make this point. So you see all this noise on the 5-minute, and this is why I was relating this to SQD. When you get down on the 5-minute, it's going to look kind of messy. When you're on lower time frames, expect your divergences to stack. Expect them to stack sometimes, but for some coins act differently. So what that means is if you see divergence not play out, and then it stacks into another type of divergence and then plays out, you've got one of those things that just it wants to wait to the last minute to have a little move. But what you do is go to the 15-minute, and when I show you the 15-minute on Cato, you're going to be like, wow, that made all the difference in the world. So watch this. Now, like, it's so much clearer. You still have the hidden bull is a strong hidden bullish divergence here. But remember, it will not invalidate until this purple line is breached. So, it could technically go all the way down to this white line and wick and tap it and not invalidate that hidden bull div. And what it would have done is stacked, and see how much clearer it is on the 15. I'm going to show you some stuff here. I'm really glad that I'm talking about this one, because you want to know this and then go to SQD and start looking for what I'm showing you. Down on the 5-minute. If it's too noisy, go to the 15. The 15-minute is great nowadays because the markets don't have a lot of liquidity. You catch the crossover, you might miss one candle, but watch that crossover, sure, you still get your move. But then, like here, it had a long stacked divergence, excuse me. So this here on the 15 as compared to the 5, whereas in the 5 you would have traded this little move and you wouldn't have known when to get out. You could have traded this little move on the 5-minute. When do you get out before it reverses? Even here on the 5-minute, there would have been an entry. So you could have traded each and one of these little moves on the money flow waves and the crossovers. But when you look at the 15, you see where it had a bigger move. And it's going to become more, it'll make more sense to you, like when I show you what I'm about to show you. So the money flow is it stayed in the red and it's getting closer. But what do you see here is that the RSI is pretty much below the 50 on the scale. But when it does get above the 50, you've got your bearish shark fin. It's coming back down. But we want you to start getting this in. It tried to do it here, but it didn't hold on the 15. It went up and then it went below the 50, but then it got back up. So this would have been a really solid with higher confluence area to go long. But even then, it's still printing bull divs. Again, another bull div. So this thing is building pressure even now. And yeah, well, that's kind of like an exaggerated bull div, but it's, yeah, actually, maybe not, maybe. No. Close. I thought it, but, well, it's kind of that, kind of. But watch this. At any rate, you want to see, now what you want to see would be a change in market structure. So somewhere around here, before it hits this massive order block, without tapping the invalidation or closing a candle above it, or below it, I'm sorry. If it gets down to here, if it doesn't get down to there, you want to wait for a change in market structure. So you would want to see it do something like that, because this would be your high, your lower high. But once it starts putting in higher highs, so it's around that time, and then you have your retracement, your entry. But watch this. It could very well, like on Cato, it could come down, and let's say this was the money flow line. It could come down and then tap this line, say no to bearish sentiment, and then bounce up. And maybe put in a, let's see if it went down to here, and then come up and put in a higher high, and then change market structure. So you want to see this high broken before you start going long, and of course you'd wait for a retracement. It hasn't broken that. But you also want to look for areas like this, which you can trade, but take your profit on the low time frame, scalp it. All right, Norm, have a good one. Thanks. So watch for these. You know, and you have it here. You see it here. Well, it's a late entry. It's a late entry after this big candle. But here you even have a low time frame order block forming right now. And there's a bigger candle here. This will be a low time frame, so you're not going to expect this thing to go to Moon City on the 15-minute, you know. But you could trade a reaction potentially at this level if this FastMA decides to not stay below this. When these two converge, when you have that money flow, who knows? The money flow could come up more, and you could have something like this. It could come down, and then, you know, of course, if it made a higher high up here somewhere, you would have a bear div if this didn't get above this. But that's what you're looking for, these areas here. And it's like usually right after it tries to go below, doesn't, like right here, usually it's like the next candle. So even if you entered, you could have entered a long right here on this candle. And you know, that's something that you won't be thinking about, because you might say, well, look, it has a bearish shark fin forming. Why would I enter a long right here? Well, the thing to keep in mind about that is there are bearish shark fins, but it's not a sharp one. When there's a bearish shark fin, it doesn't mean price is going to reverse. It may do this where it makes this big, like, dolphin fin instead of a shark fin, you know, or like a whale fin. And it ends up being a long time before it reverses. But when you see these sharp ones, like Seth says, these classic sharp, jagged shark fins, that is, you know, that's where you get like usually a move down. Well, this one didn't even. But watch for those, and you'll see them, like very sharp and jagged. But the markets are kind of weird because liquidity is weird right now. It's low. So you're still putting in lower lows, lower highs. I'm not saying to go long here, but if, you know, if it did bounce, like, you could scalp it on a low time frame. So once you see it, where the price gets to that, I probably wouldn't even mess with that, honestly, unless I just watched it and then it put in a higher high from there. Otherwise, I'm waiting for the trap, for the price to be trapped. And this is the trap. That's where I enter and get some action. These order blocks are really good. They're essentially like opposing levels. Oftentimes you'll have a fair value gap right around the order block, or the fair value gap will get filled right where the order block starts. So you'll have the confluence. But, you know, also watch if the RSI, the FastMA, is staying below or above the 50. You're still trending down. So in here, it's still trending. It was trending down all during this time here, like where it's all below here. Whoops. You need the RSI to get above 50 and hold. And you'll see reactions to the money flow line, the middle band. or the RSI, and that's how I enter. Those are great. You know, there's not a lot of people in today, just a couple of you guys, because the other people left. And I usually run this for 2 hours. But if anyone would like to come on stage and chat, I know Alan's on vacation right now, but he's listening in. Thank you, Alan, for joining. If you have any questions, Cat Monkey, you can. Okay, all right. I'll let you join, Alan, and we'll just. Oh, you're welcome, Cat Monkey. I was going to say this too. I'm going to invite Alan to speak, but we're probably going to try to wrap it up soon. But these things that I'm showing you, it's weird. I want to show you one more thing, if it will let me. I'm going to try it. I haven't tried this before, and this is going to look weird at first. So let me show you. I'm going to share my own Discord. Can you see my Discord? All right. I bet you can. So I look at this volatility scanner right here. Look at this guy. Yes, EAX is great, and people that use SMCX will love EAX much more. But I am more of a continuation trader, and this thing has been a gold mine sitting here in front of my face the whole time, and I haven't tapped into it, but it's here. And people see this and don't know how to use it, but I do. And I can tell you what you do is say, all of a sudden you get an alert that says ZRX has become volatile. That means it's pumping. So I'm going to show you, or even let's look at open, something that's already done it a little while ago. We'll look at open, ZRX. Maybe it's a little early on ZRX, but we'll look at it. Open and ZRX. So I'm going to show you now. All right, here we go. Just switching over, and then I'm going to have you join, Alan, and I want to show you what I've been trying to chat with you and talk to you about. So I'm going to invite you to speak, but I'm going to explain this really quick. So I'm going to go quickly to ZRX and open, especially open, because it's been a USD. Where you at? Very good. And ZRX. So because we looked on the volatility scanner, and then we know this thing just started moving, or the open has been moving for a little while. So what I do is I look at it and I'm like, okay, you see how the money flow is, it's showing like the RSI moving up. Now I'll go down to the 1 minute time frame or something. Nope. It's a little early on that. So in order to show you what I want to show you, I'll go to the 10-second. I normally don't get on this one. Okay, it hasn't happened yet. It's still early. But here's your big move that set off the volatility scanner. This big candle. Boom. You're going to have a key zone or something going on here, and boom, you'll have, not yet, but eventually, once if it creates a new high, you're going to end up going to a higher time frame. Once it's done, it's going to come back down, and it's going to start putting in hidden bullish divergences is what it's going to do. Because now it's got bullish volatility. You could probably look at Trendex and see why. But the thing is, yeah, there's some stuff going on with today's narrow daily. Yeah, it's kind of narrow. Yeah, it's a narrow daily right there. I'll turn off the other ones just to show it. I should do this more often. I get kind of lazy about that. It's kind of narrow and it just blasted above it. But now what I would look at is for a hidden bull div, because this is bull. If it was bearish, I'd be looking for a hidden bear. But look at ZRX, and sometimes even as it's volatile, right as it is, this is the time to start looking. And Alan, you're welcome to chat, but I wanted to show you what I was doing. So like once I see volatility, I'm like, okay, it's bullish now. That volatility, look at that. It's way above the narrow, super narrow daily. I'm now looking for, and this shouldn't take long because it's a 10-second time frame. I'm looking for a hidden bullish divergence. And let's sit here and watch this as we chat because it won't take long. Even if I wonder what the 5-second will look like. Yeah, let's look at the 5-second. Let's get this done. I want to show this and prove this point. So this will be the first, after this change in market structure, this will be the first hidden bull. This is not a hidden bull because this is a lower low in price. But this next one, if the money flow breaks this, really the RSI even. And Alan, I haven't heard you speak yet. Is your mic on? But anyway, when the money flow comes below this hump, but the price is still higher, and we're going to see it happen here. I'm going to prove this. And we'll watch it. I normally don't do it live because I wait for something and then, you know, it just happens when you're doing something else. So you want to see price stay above this low and the money flow or RSI to come down lower. Probably not the RSI in this case. And it's just going to take a little time. It may come down and then go like that, and then it'll probably go up. If it clears this, it's still not done yet. But because it's already in red money flow, I'm expecting it to come down a little more. Maybe right around here even. Maybe something like around this trend X level. So we'll sit here and watch the hidden bull div. And yeah, I can't hear you, Alan. Are you speaking? Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, goody. There was a little exclamation point on there as if there was an error. So I wanted to make sure. And so these hidden bull divs, they work on low time frames too. Computer's a little laggy. So it might not do it as fast as I thought, but just we'll keep watching it as we chat. How's it going, Alan? How's your vacation going? Oh, your voice. Okay, you're gonna rejoin. Okay. Maybe check your microphone settings in Discord. Yeah, still no mic yet. Really can put it down here. Yeah, it's usually right around this. But let's put it here. If it doesn't come down and do it, it's probably not done going up, and that was just a little retracement to some opposing level. But if the money flow gets lower than this money flow, that's you'll have your hidden bull, and then you'll see it play out. You know, it may be I almost never do this, but let's take a look at the 1 sec. This would be here. Turn my air conditioner on. It's kind of warm today. Yeah, Alan, your microphone wasn't working. I'm sorry, guys, that my connection hasn't been the greatest today, and it's been a little choppy. So did you check your voice and video settings on your Discord? Because like if you're on your phone or something, you may need to change that in your settings. It's looking like it's doing something this time. Are you muted? Yeah, it looks like you're muted. This one might not be ready, but I would say if the money flow comes down here on the 1 second, you probably have something happen, like a bullish move. Oh, I heard something.
All right, am I here now?
Yes, I can hear you clear now.
Okay, how you doing?
Excellent. Good to hear from you. So yeah, that's what I'm watching.
So when you look at the money flow,
Mm-hmm.
is there's like a line that follows the money flow? Do they call that something?
The line that follows it? Oh, yeah, that.
That like on top of the green, it's kind of a yellow, and then when it
Yes.
goes below the red,
Yeah, the
is
yellow.
that
That's
its own RSI or no?
no. The middle band, like the one that is right on the edge of the money flow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean? Yeah, that's basically,
Yes.
that's called the middle band. And that's where I often set my alerts to, which I'll show you. So if I wanted to set an alert, I would go like this, and then the first thing I would do to set it is that instead of clicking where it says bearish shark fin, I'd click crossing, and that'll give me two fields, and I'll say the first one TDIX, and I would well, let's see, TDIX crossing, and then I would want to do the fast MA, which is the one that's like an RSI, and then the other value would be TDIX as well, but that would be the middle band. So what that would do, if I created an alert, what that would mean is every time this white line crosses the money flow, every time it crosses, whoops, and that's where you can often find trades too. Right here, I'm now hearing alerts go off, which I don't think you guys can hear, but on the recording on YouTube, you'll hear it. So now every time there's a cross here. So this hasn't happened yet because it has put in a new high. This might take a little while, but let's see if I can find something that was volatile before. So I'm going to switch, and I'm going to go back to Discord. Give me a moment. This will be a little weird, but I'll go back to the volatility scanner. Okay. You should be able to see my Discord window. And then I'm going to go up to, where is that thing? Here it is, volatility scanner. Now I looked at ZRX, but this just happened at 10:05, so I guess that's why it hasn't had time to form the hidden bull. But let's look at something that happened before 10 a.m. at my time. 9:07. Okay, so let's look at lit or beat. Those will be good ones. So I found these on the volatility scanner just now. You've seen what I did, and I'm going to show you. One moment. I'm trying to switch my things, and it got a little weird there. Now back to the charts. So lit and beat. So let's look beat and lit. That one's not the same thing on it. Let's just pull one up. I normally don't look at other ones. Let's look at next C. Why not? I almost always use Bybit, it's just me. But let's look at Beat. And so what this had is it had a dump quite a little while ago, around 9 a.m. this morning my time. The volatility scanner went off because it was dumping. Now, if I would have got down on the low time frames around here and then got down to like a 1 minute or 30 seconds or something, then you're going to start seeing the hidden bear divs in this case. So this is a good example. Now I'm looking for one of these highs to have a lower high on TDIX, while these lower highs have a higher money flow on TDIX. So right here you have a lower high. Now this happens after the volatility scanner sets off. So you have a hidden bear. Now it's not perfect, but the more you do it, you'll see. This one was actually on the money or the RSI as well as the money flow. Look at how strong it is here. But you want to see this kind of thing. But this one was the best one. This one was the most clear. This one right here. So like around that time, which would have given you plenty of time after the volatility scanner alerted you, then you could have said, okay, well, you could have drawn a line, and you've seen this big money flow hump much higher than this one, but this would be your invalidation line. So as long as price is below this purple line and your money flow is getting higher than it was up here, then around here you're looking for a short, and then you would be looking for something just like this right here. This whole area is your entry, especially right here at this crossover, and especially right here. And look, even if you entered there, you know, right, you would have got an entry, and these hidden divergences often give you a good entry too. So you could have shorted that, and 48 minutes made 7.24% times whatever leverage. So you had the volatility, you notice the reversal occurring, it's going back down, and then you had all this time to look for this. And there's your money flow higher while the price is lower, your invalidation line, your entry. The RSI Fast MA could not get into bullish sentiment again. And every time it tries and fails is your entry. The crossover is a good entry here and here. Like even if you entered on that candle, you still had a nice move. Like when you look at if you did a line on it, even if you had a late entry right here, you know, there you go. You have a solid entry here, and you know that you can hold the trade. Say you entered the trade to scalp it. Once the RSI gets down here and really is hanging out below the 50, it's still trending down. This may continue to go down. So now the RSI is in a downtrend. The price is in a downtrend. All right, Cat Monkey, we'll see you around. Happy New Year. Have a good one. So, Alan, I think you're one of the few people that's heard me talk about this thing so much, and I think this it's kind of hard to explain. It's a different, unique style I've developed. using TDIX to trade these hidden divergences. These are continuation trades, but you know that the price is now in a downtrend because the RSI is holding below the 50. And you especially want to watch when the fast MA tries to get above this middle band. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say the money flow was going like this, or let's do another one. Let's do it better, like, and let's say the fast MA, you can see it like up here, and let's say it went down and then, you know, went, maybe did a bearish shark fin, and then right here, your entries in this case would be like right around here, right over here, because this line, whenever the fast MA is above, it's bullish, but in general it's in a downtrend if it's below the 50, and if it's below, like down here, it's in a downtrend, or it's bearish because it's, this white line is below the money flow, and so it's trending down not only because it's under the money flow and bearish sentiment, but it's below the 50. And these rejections or rechecks on between the fast MA and the money flow are their freaking choice, and they're easy to trade. Now in this case, like, you see these bouncing, kind of trying to stay above in the bullish sentiment, but there's your short, really, because the thing was, like, the money flow wasn't holding above the 50. It was still in a downtrend when you see that, because the fast MA is just in the red money flow, let's say that. Now if you look at the bullish stuff, like here, same thing. Well, opposite though, because for the most part the RSI is above during this whole time. Why is this thing not drawing? It is holding above the 50, and green money flow is being shown. And when it does go below for a little bit, you often get a nice move. You would see this with indicator X, but it's so easy with TDIX too. You know you're in an uptrend because the RSI is holding above the 50. It's generally trending up. You know, you have your entries, the interactions with the fast MA and the middle band of the money flow. It's trending up. It's still above the 50. You see? And then here it was trending down, and it's holding, it's spending time below the 50. The money flow can help you gauge, you know, the trend as well, and you know, make it easier for you to tell, like, where the RSI is most of the time, because at fast MA is below, it can pull the money flow in that direction. So yeah, that's what I've been wanting to share with everyone for a long time. I hope everyone understands. It's so freaking easy to trade like this. So in that case, when it's trending up, let's get rid of this guy, because you have all this fast MA up above here. Now, because it's green money flow, you would look for entries not only at bullish shark fins, but on bounces. Not every bounce. Let's see. Things, it's not a good example. When I want one, it's not there. But if you had seen the fast MA kind of go above while the money flows in the green, and then if it hit, fast MA hit it and bounced, that often occurs as it's climbing. and then you get a move. Like, where was this one here? Well, it's not a great move. And this works on all time frames. So the reason I show this on the low time frame is because it offers so many trades. When you look at the volatility meter, there's always something that's volatile. And then you're just looking for a continuation entry. And when you're on the low time frames, you're going to find way more entries. So I'm pretty much done talking. I'm sorry I talked so much. I wasn't sure how much you wanted to talk, Alan. I'm glad you joined. It's usually us here at this time of day.
I'm glad I stayed silent because what you just said is exactly what I wanted to hear.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's hard to
I have one
explain.
question, though.
Yeah.
So, does money flow follow volume at all, like a volume indicator?
I don't believe
Does
so.
that represent volume at all, or is it kind of have a few things that it's looking together, and that's how it gets its confluence? You know, like how it gets.
No, I'll tell you what. I didn't create TDIX, but I'm pretty certain I know what the money flow is, and it is not volume. The volume's just volume, but this money flow, I'm pretty certain that it is a kind of RSI. It's an RSI moving average.
When I put my
It's a moving average of the RSI that's what I'm guessing. But I think there's something else. It's very special because I've checked moving averages on the RSI, and this money flow is unique, and that's why I love Easy Algo so much, because I've never found any RSI moving average that matches it perfectly. I've found things that are very close, but there's something special about TDIX with that money flow, and whoever invented this somehow did some magic, because it's wonderful.
I use this indicator called CVD on TradingView, and that follows the money flow pretty closely.
Does it?
Yeah, it's interesting.
The CVD, cumulative volume delta.
Cumulative volume.
Are you serious? I've never.
Yeah.
No way.
Pull it up. It's a real simple indicator.
Yeah.
It's.
I know. I have heard of it.
And I use it a lot. It's like that, the RSI, and then the TDXI. And you can just see how when the flow flips, or the money flow flips, it's really interesting. Sometimes you have to widen it up because it kind of runs tight, like it just get bigger in that window. But
yeah. Let me see something. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. It's similar. I know of other things that are similar, but I don't think I should put it on screen because I don't want to give away the secrets of TDIX. Whoever invented TDIX
it's no worries. That's something I used for quite a while. And when trades really started ripping to the downside or the upside, the CVD indicator would flip, and you would see the money. If it was going up, it would turn greener and wider. And then when it would flip negative, the red would widen, especially like when they're making those larger moves, you would see it expand. And it was really, it's a lagging indicator, of course, but you get an idea, just like when it flips from green to red on TDXI, it gives a similar indication. But yeah, I love TDXI because it has so many things together. And I've been tweaking mine a little because I like how yours is a little cleaner. I took the red and the green bar brightness down on mine, that like the 70 or 80% bar and the 20 or 30% bar, because I like seeing the really bright green when the shark fins occur.
Yeah, that's how I like it.
The markers that go off. You miss those with the stock settings.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yeah, because the money flow's so bright on the default settings. Yeah, that's a really good idea. And it's hard to get it just perfect, but if you work with it, you can. And this is the best I could get mine the way I like it. And I want my Fastame to be there. I want to kinda see the slow MA, but I don't want it in the way. So I made it almost completely transparent. You can see the slow MA, it's there, but I wanted it bright. And these rectangles too, they pop. I didn't know if you noticed that. I talked about this once or twice, but these rectangles are showing when the fast MA or RSI crosses back into, like say if it went to oversold, once it crossed into, not oversold, it creates this bright green rectangle. And that is often a trade entry as well. Like, not always, it's not perfect, because sometimes it'll play around before it makes its move, but you'll see more of those before a move. Like here it had it. So you generally want to watch it, but you start seeing this bright green or this bright red, you're starting to look for a reversal, but not always. I mean, this thing was on a run, so once it gets like that, when you've had a mega run, but if the money flows, if you get a rectangle and stuff and the money flow is not very thick, but if the money flow is thick and it's up there for a while, it's going to take a while. And here would have been your entry. Like once it starts getting lower after holding into the green for a while, and it starts getting closer around here, you'll start looking. You'll start looking for stuff like this. Boom. Hits it. Cannot get into bullish sentiment. Reject it. And then here would have been a tiny, tiny shark fin. Another rejection of the 50. Shark fin above it, but the money flows in the red. Bearish shark fins with money flow in the red are often really good. Look at this. Rejection, rejection, rejection. It cannot hold bullish sentiment. Boom. You're short. So that money flow, it just weeds out the noise.
Right.
And that the crossover.
I noticed you can trade that up and down, shark fin to shark fin almost. If you're really on it, you can just trade each direction almost. Then it gets a little sloppy in a few areas, but when it's in that tight range and just bouncing around, if you're watching it, you could probably trade quite a bit on one token.
Think of this too, like, because in this case, the money flow is still climbing, so I wouldn't be really looking for shorts until it starting to die out and drain out. While the money flow is thick green, you'd be looking for these bull shark fins. Just like if it's in a thick red, you'll be looking for the bear ones. But like these ones, some people would try to look for a short on. That's suicide. Like you're just gonna get stopped out because it's still trending up. But yeah, that's something to watch out for too. And yeah, it's interesting, very interesting.
I like the shark, like you were showing there. You have those shark fins on the retest of the uptrend, and those are some pretty massive up moves. If you can catch those, like that's actually what do they call that? An AMD pattern.
In many cases, it's in the sweet spot.
Yeah, that one right there.
Yep. In many cases, this one here too. Like all these ended up.
There's that really huge.
Yeah, like, the other thing to watch out for too, is once the RSI is climbing, you often see this, where, here is something really cool. So it came up, but then it started to go below the 50 and said nope, it wanted to hold in the bullish. Now look at this. Let's see if it is. Yes, very close, very close. You're gonna like this. It's not money flow, but right here, and it's on the RSI. So think of this. Now there's a hidden bull right there. As it's starting, that was the first shark fin in green money flow. After it was, after it was down for a little bit. You know, right? That was the one. That was the entry, you know? It was a hidden bull div on the RSI. It moves slow, but so that's why I look at these, because like, yeah, the reversal happened here, but this is your continuation of that reversal. Now, think of this too. How can I say? Oh, there's even a nice wick here. And then you could start looking around. Look at this wick here. Look at all this action right around this line. Wicks here, big wick right here, tapping it here, here. That was a really good sign. Really good sign. So even this right here.
Well, that's like an SR flip area.
Yeah.
Right.
And look at this. It went below, but then came right back right up here. Entry. After it comes back above. Green money flow. No shark fin, but it's above the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Another entry. This is often the sweet spot with indicator X. Not always, but in many cases it is. But this is why, you know, I harp on about this, because it's, to me, that's all I really need is TDIX.
Mm-hmm.
I can draw my lines. I could draw my flip zones, my order blocks. I can see the market structure. But the TDIX has got my RSI, you know, the money flow, the shark fins, the Bollinger Bands. From there, I just draw my lines. And my charts stay clean. And I'll get into stuff like this and I'll show you. I'll go ahead and talk about it. I don't care. Nobody cares what I'm talking about, really. And so look at this.
Oh, yeah, I have that one.
Yeah. So like, it's, you could have said, okay, double check, more confluence right here. This is a good one. I would not say to use it as entries, but maybe as confluence to say, yeah, it's actually in a trend, because this thing is calculating the trend. It's not a moving average. It's, so yeah. On the high time frames, this is a nice one. Deviation trend profile by Big Beluga. Just a free indicator.
So on the TDXI, you have your hidden bull div line down there on the TDIX. See that?
Yeah, that's
right
on
there, that line.
Yeah, it's on the RSI.
Then
Yeah.
to the left, where the red shark fin is, what do they call the red within? Is that a money flow sign, or what is making it red?
The
Is it an exhaustion?
which part are you meaning? Because exactly.
Right there, the redness where the shark fin's forming.
Yeah.
You know how it's coming to the end of the move, or the end of the momentum for that leg? Well, do they call the redness in there something? I mean,
no, all that really I don't think so. If I'm understanding your question, like I think, you know, all it's really showing
is
you.
it volume? Is it...
All that's really showing you is that the fast MA is above the top Bollinger Band, because that's basically what these blue lines are, is like a Bollinger Band with the money flow in the middle, or the
right.
So it's basically, you know, a deviation of that, like a deviation trend, essentially. Now, when you look at Bollinger Bands, I'll show you, it's a little slow. When you look at the settings, so a Bollinger Band, a typical Bollinger Band is a 20 simple moving average. And some guy some guy named Bollinger or something invented this, and the STD is standard deviation, and it's always set to 2. And when you look at it, you know, in this case, TDIX is so much better than Bollinger Bands, but it's like Bollinger Bands, and Bollinger Bands are pretty good themselves. They revolutionized a lot of stuff, and so like I know how to trade Bollinger Bands, but I like not going to talk about all that, but you know, you have a similar thing. Oh, maybe. Okay, the fast MA is below when the price is below the 20 MA, but here it crossed above, so it's not precise. And look, the fast MA is above when it's above the 20 on the Bollinger Bands, and it's below again. Very similar, but not the same. TDIX is still just better, in my opinion. Like, it's so accurate too. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
I really wasn't talking about the Bollinger Band. I was talking about, you have the dark red money flow, which I understand. Yeah. Then you have the fast MA that has that bright red band attached to it as it's maxing out, or, you know, going to the top of the range for that move. Is that what's that supposed to signify? I usually, when I see it, it's like, okay, we're getting towards a reversal.
You mean
we
the
might
shark
print
thing?
a dot. Yeah, the red within the shark. Within, yeah.
Yeah, it's just feeling it. It's just filling the gap between, you know, the fast MA and the Bollinger Band when it's.
Oh, all right.
So that
makes sense.
It's basically just filling it in with color to let you know that it's deviating from, you know, it's the volatility is higher and it's deviated away from the 20
outside of the Bollinger Band
or whatever. Yeah. So this is why I search for these hidden bull dips. Oh, I wanted to say this too, and I'm probably going to get going real soon, but I got a little bit of time. But think of this. I don't have it with me. Let me see if I can pull it on screen. And I'm looking for my my like divergence cheat sheet, which I showed this before, but I'm gonna try. Oh, here we go. Now I'm gonna switch. Well, I think everyone has seen this, and it's not. Let me open with something else. There we go. And I'm gonna switch real quick. So I'm just looking at this. Can you see it pretty good? Well, anyway, the people like on the recording too. So like you have your divergences. You know, I talk about the regular ones get painted by TDIX, but the hidden ones do not. The hidden ones are continuations. The regulars, reversals, exaggerated, just barely there. But so you have, you know, your bearish and bullish for reversals. You're bearish and bullish for hidden. Right there's 4 different kinds of divergences. Then you have exaggerated. Now take that number and look at this, and you'll say, well, you could have a divergence on your money flow, and then you could have a divergence on your RSI. So your 4 or really 6 different kinds of divergences becomes 12. Because you can get divergence on other things. You can get divergence on volume. You can get it on your stochastic, you know. So basically, yeah. There's always one somewhere, I would say, almost, because price is always trying to find its true value or a fair value to trade at. And so that's why, like, I hunt for them, because They are a strong confluence. Not my trade trigger, no way. But they make me look for the trade. And then I use TDIX, the crossovers and things. Oh, this was on the 1 minute where it was. But then I, of course, use my fast MA and the money flow. And I'm like, okay, it went into bearish sentiment here. Try to get in above. Nope. Rejected, rejected. And now it's the money flow's coming down and it's under the 50, trending down. So that fast MA pulls the money flow. And when it crosses the 50, you've got a trend change. Well, not in every case, but generally you have to look at things. You want to look for your flip zones in the area. Because like a lot of times the relevant levels are our most recent levels. So yeah, I'm gonna look at Bitcoin real quick because that's not doing anything. Well, it's at an important area. Well, well, it's been nice chatting with you, Alan. I'd say I'll probably get this stream ended here really soon. I'm glad you came in too.
Yeah,
and we got
thank
to
you
talk
for all
about
your
it.
help.
Oh, you're welcome. Anyone can do it. All you got to do is back test. Back test, back test. Take the time, and then you'll see stuff. You just look and you'll see. Take just about any indicator, especially the easy algo indicators, and just back test, and you will see all sorts of stuff and patterns that are hard to explain, but once you understand it and you start to see it over and over, you're able to tell what's happening and make a better informed decision on your trades. Well, you have a good time in Costa Rica. Is that where you were at again? I forgot what you said. I think it was. I have to look at the chat, but
yeah, I'm in Costa Rica. I had a little downtime.
Nice.
Yeah, little downtime. So I just saw you on, and I always learn something when I show up. So I figured I'd just pop in and listen.
Yeah. Well, great.
I'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, I'll catch you later, man. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.